What's up, everybody? It is Dan Cam. And I am back with another video. And what I'm going to be showing you how to do today is upgrading your current graphics card to that shiny new GPU you just picked up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So first off, I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, hey Dan, how do you install a graphics card incorrectly? Pump the brakes. I'm not talking so much about the physical act of installing the graphics card, which I will cover in this video. I'm more talking about the few crucial steps leading up to installing your new graphics card. And sure, you can probably just go ahead and install your new GPU and install the newest drivers and everything will be a-okay, but why not take the time to do these few extra steps to ensure your system is running properly? So whether you're switching from an NVIDIA card to another NVIDIA card, an NVIDIA to an AMD card, or vice versa, I'm going to show you how to install a graphics card the correct way. So on that note, let's get into it. All right, guys, so before we physically install our new graphics card, we have to prepare our PC for the new GPU. And the way we do that is you're going to go to your browser of choice, and I use Google Chrome. And what you're going to do is you're going to Google Wagnardsoft DDU, and the first result should be official Display Driver Uninstaller DDU. It'll take you to Wagnardsoft's website, so let's click there. Then let's scroll down a little bit and click the first option under software or softwares. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see click here for download and support. So let's go ahead and click that. Then let's scroll down till it says official download here. And once you click here, it's going to start downloading to your PC, and it's usually your downloads folder, but it's whatever you specify for your browser. So that will start the download. So the next step depends on if you're installing an NVIDIA graphics card or an AMD graphics card. Let's go ahead and start with NVIDIA. So type in NVIDIA Drivers, and the first result should be download drivers. So let's click that. And I've done this recently, so mine's going to auto-populate my 3070 Ti, but you're going to put in whatever graphics card you're going to be installing. So go in here, and it's most likely going to be GeForce, but there are other options depending on what you're putting in. And then select which series it is. Mine's a 30 series, but it could be a 20 series or a 10 series or whatever it may be. And then you're going to select the product, whatever operating system you are using. I am still on Windows 10. I have not upgraded. And then you're most likely going to select Game Ready Driver. It depends on what you're using the computer for, but I'll just recommend leaving it on Game Ready. And then your language, and then go ahead and click search. And then you're going to go ahead and find the driver that it wants to install for your system. And then you're going to click download. And then once you click download, it'll have this option right here. And this will download it onto your computer. So now moving over, if you're installing an AMD graphics card, you're going to type in AMD GPU drivers into your search engine. And you're going to do the exact same thing, but on AMD's website. You're going to go ahead and click on graphics and whatever series you may be installing. So let's do 6000 series. And then let's say it's a 6700 XT. Go ahead and click that and then click submit. And then you're going to see whatever edition you're using. I'm going to go to Windows 10. And then I would recommend downloading the one that says recommended, because the one that's optional is usually a beta driver. So I'd usually always recommend going with the recommended software for Radeon. Then go ahead and click download, and that'll start the download to your computer. So once that's all done, let's go ahead and open our File Explorer. And then once we do, I'm going to go over to Downloads. And then in your downloads, let me expand this a little bit. You're going to have your DDU program, and then you're going to also have your new driver, and that's all you're going to need. So let's go ahead and exit out of there. And then once we're done with that, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the left shift key down and then you're going to hover over your start menu and you're going to right click it. Then you're going to hover over shutdown or sign out, and then click restart. And then by doing this, that is going to take you into safe mode, and just make sure you're still holding down the shift key. And then I will see you guys in safe mode in just a moment. All right, so now that we're in the safe mode options menu, the first thing we're going to click is troubleshoot down on the bottom left. Then once we're in the troubleshooting menu, we're going to click the advanced options tab. And then after you do that, we're going to see all of the advanced options, and you're going to select startup settings. And now that we're in startup settings, you're going to go ahead and click the restart button on the bottom right. And once you do this, your computer is going to reboot, and it is going to bring you to this menu right here. And then once you're in this menu, you're going to tap the number 4 on your keyboard, and that is going to take you into safe mode. So now that we're in safe mode, you're going to notice that the resolution's incorrect, but you're going to have all these indicators that say you're in safe mode, and this is all completely normal. But what you're going to want to do is open your Windows Explorer, and my taskbar got cut off for this recording, so I apologize for that. But you're going to go ahead and open Downloads, and then once you open Downloads, you're going to see the application DDU, and then once you open it, you're going to extract the files where you want them. And I just went back into Downloads. So now we're going to double click our new DDU folder. And then within this folder, we're going to see Display Driver Uninstaller, the application. So double click that. And then once you open DDU, it's going to prompt you that it's going to say, this seems to be the first time you've launched DDU. Before using, please note that by using DDU, depending on your problems and configuration, it could help or make things worse. You should always have a backup, yada, yada, yada. So just go ahead and click OK. And now this set of options is very important. And all the top ones, you're just going to leave as is, and you can browse over them if you'd like. But the ones you're going to want to pay attention to, if you have an AMD CPU, are these AMD specific options. And if you have an AMD CPU, you're going to want to make sure all of these are unchecked. So this is not going to remove any of the AMD drivers that you already have installed, which you could reinstall later, but to save the headache, just make sure all those are unchecked. And then the next option that you're going to take a look at is prevent downloads of drivers from Windows Update. So this is basically going to prevent Windows from installing new drivers for the new graphics card that you're putting in. So just go ahead and make sure that is checked. And then once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and click Close. Then once you do, you're going to see Select Device Type, and we're going to go ahead and select GPU. And then for whatever drivers you're uninstalling, so if you have an NVIDIA graphics card that's coming out, make sure you click NVIDIA. If you have an AMD card that's coming out, make sure you select AMD. So once you do that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at these options. You got clean and restart, clean and do not restart, and then we have clean and shut down for installing a new graphics card. So once you click this, it's going to take maybe a minute or two, and then it's going to completely shut down, and it's time to install your new GPU. So now that we're done with that, you may be wondering why we went through this entire process. It's because no matter how good the add or removes program is on Windows, there's still some chance that a driver or file is lingering on your computer. And by installing your new graphics card and installing new drivers, there may be a conflict with whatever file is still on your system, and it could cause performance issues. It could cause flickering. It could even cause overheating. So what DDU does is it eliminates all traces of any drivers on your system. So you're kind of giving your PC a fresh slate, and you're getting it prepared for your new graphics card and the new drivers for that new GPU. So I just want to explain that, but I got my PC powered off now. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial on how to install your new GPU. All right, so let's start with the graphics card connectors, and each one is going to have this little tab on them. And what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze that tab in while pulling upward. So it's basically a pinching motion, and then you pinch it together and then you pull upward. And those little tabs just kind of latch onto the graphics card so they don't get pulled out accidentally. And then we're just going to leave our cables over to the right the best we can. Now let's move on to the 2 screws that hold the rear of the GPU into the case. And those are just a normal Phillips head number 2 screwdriver that I'm using. And I use a magnetic tip because it makes my life so much easier that the screws actually stick to the tip of the screwdriver. So there is one, and there is the second one. And most are pretty universal, but your case design may be a bit different. So just keep an eye out for that. So now we're going to go ahead and push down this retention tab. And by pushing down this retention tab, that is going to release the graphics card from the motherboard. So you can kind of do it all in one motion, but you push down the retention tab and then you pull up on the graphics card. So now let's go ahead and put our GPU to the side. And then now I'm going to show you what the retention tab looks like when it's unlocked. So that's when the graphics card is removed. And then that's how it will be when the graphics card is locked into place. Let's grab our new GPU. And I'm just doing this for tutorial purposes. So I'm just reinstalling the same card I had in there because it is my new card. And we're going to line up the PCIe slot. And then as we line this up, you'll notice the holes for the rear of the graphics card line up. Then you're just going to push down slightly and you're going to hear a satisfying little click. And that means the retention tab has latched onto the graphics card and the graphics card is locked in place. So now let's go ahead and install the 2 screws at the back of the case that hold it in. And then when you first get your case, the slots at the back there, you'll see the little individual slots. You may have to remove some depending on how large your new card is. So now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall my connectors. And then I'm going to leave a diagram up of how you should hook up your graphics card. I would highly recommend looking at the manual for yours to make sure you are supplying it with enough power and you're using the right kind of cables. Some you cannot daisy chain power cables, so be wary of that. So now we're going to take my little modified GPU bracket that I got from Amazon, and I'll link this down below, but it ended up looking really clean because it came really tall, but I cut it down to size. And then when it's in place right here, you can hardly notice it because most GPU brackets are an eyesore, but this one came out looking good. And then you can see me right there spinning the fan to make sure it's not getting in the way of, how the fan will perform. All right, guys, so the GPU is installed and I went ahead and plugged all of the cables back into my PC and I started it up and it booted with no issues. And you'll notice when you first get to your desktop that the resolution may be a little bit screwed up, but we'll go ahead and address that in a moment. But what we're going to do first, is go back into your downloads folder or wherever you downloaded DDU and your newest driver. And this time around, we're going to double click our newest driver and then go ahead and allow that to open. And then we're going to click OK. And then once you click OK, this process may take anywhere from 15 seconds up to about a minute, and it says, please wait while the files are saved to your computer, and then when complete, the driver installation will start. So let's go ahead and give this a moment. And we are up and ready to go. So I would highly recommend selecting the top one, which says NVIDIA Graphics Driver and GeForce Experience. But if you don't want GeForce Experience for whatever reason, just go ahead and select this bottom one, but we're going to stay with the top. Go ahead and click agree and continue. And then we're going to go ahead and click custom advanced. And then we're going to click next. Then once you click next, it's going to have all these checked in. Go ahead and leave that. But what we're going to do is click perform a clean installation. So click this. And once you click next, it's going to go ahead and go through the install of all of your drivers. And you may notice the screen might flicker a few times, and that is completely normal. And then that's going to do its thing, and it may take anywhere from 30 seconds up to a couple minutes, but it should download and install pretty fast. So once that's all done and you got your drivers installed, we're going to head to your desktop and we're going to right click, and then we're going to click Display Settings. Then we're going to scroll all the way down until you see Advanced Display Settings. So click that. And then we're going to scroll down. And then once you first put your GPU in, this is most likely going to default to your monitor's lowest refresh rate. So it's probably going to be on 60. So make sure you select whatever your monitor's highest refresh rate is. So go ahead and click 144 minus 144. And then if you have multiple displays, make sure you go into your second one and make sure that one changed as well. So you can see it's running at 1440p, 144 hertz. That's the big one a lot of people forget. So we are good to go in display settings. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click on the desktop and select NVIDIA Control Panel. Then once you do, it's going to bring you to like the main settings page. Then you'll see this tab down here. I always recommend sliding this from quality, which it's usually on, over to performance. So leave that on performance. And then we're going to go up here to manage 3D settings. Then once we're in here, we're going to scroll down and you're going to see power management mode. And then once you're on here, it's going to be on normal when you first boot yours up. But we're going to go into prefer maximum performance. And if, let me do it. Thank you. So now, and then scroll down a little bit more, and we're going to go to texturing filter quality and make sure this is on high performance. And there's a whole mess of adjustments that are in here that I'm not going to cover because that deserves its own video. But you can go in here and set up G-Sync if you want to. There's a whole lot of things you can change, but those are the basics to get you going. So once you're done, make sure you click apply. And then boom, we are all good to go. So let's go ahead and close this out. Oops, it says my changes have been, would you like to apply these? Yes. So it went ahead and applied them, and then that's it. We are good to go, guys. We are ready to game, and we got the newest drivers up. So yeah, that's going to do it. All right, so if you're installing an AMD GPU, it's actually even easier than NVIDIA. What you're going to do is double click that driver that you downloaded way earlier. And then as soon as it opens, you're going to be brought with the AMD Radeon screen, and it's going to show you exactly which driver version you are installing. And then you're going to see underneath it, it's going to say additional options. And just like NVIDIA, it's either going to have full install, and I think one that says custom or minimum, and then driver only. And I would highly recommend selecting the one that says full install so you can use the AMD Radeon software. So go ahead and click that, and then it'll also have the file location for where you're going to save it. So go ahead and click install, and then it's going to go to the install portion of it. And just like on the NVIDIA side, it's probably going to flicker for quite a bit, and then it will completely normal out as soon as the driver is installed. So as soon as the driver is installed, you're going to be met with another screen, and you're going to go ahead and click restart, and that's going to restart your system. And then as soon as it boots back up, you're actually all done and ready to go. And then same thing as before, go into your display settings and make sure your refresh rate is set properly under advanced display settings. And then just as kind of a minimal setting to adjust for the AMD Radeon software, go ahead and right click again on your desktop. And then at the bottom, you'll see AMD Radeon software. So go ahead and open that. And then once you do, you're going to go into the graphics setting under there, and you're going to be presented with three options. And I think one of them is gaming, and then one of them is FPS, and then one of them I think is standard or normal. And I'd recommend just clicking either FPS or gaming, depending on what kind of games you play. And there's also some options below, but I'm not going to get into all those because that deserves a whole separate video. But after you set that, you can go ahead and close it out, and then you're actually all good to go. You are completely ready to game and drivers installed, and yeah, you are ready to go. So we are finally done, and what we did was we completely uninstalled all of your old drivers, we installed your new graphics card, and we installed the newest drivers for your new graphics card. And by doing it this way, you're just making sure that all of the old drivers and files are completely removed from your computer before installing your new GPU. So you're not getting any issues like flickering or overheating or any performance related issues. And DDU is also a great diagnostic step. So if you're having trouble with your GPU like flickering and overheating and you've tried other steps, it may be worth looking into DDU and uninstalling the current drivers you have and then try to reinstall them, because for the same reason there may be a file on there that's messing with your GPU. So I would highly recommend using DDU as a diagnostic step as well. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was informative. And if you liked it, please consider hitting the like button. And if you're enjoying my content, please consider subscribing. But once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video, and I hope y'all have a great day.